Fletcher Toff as we bring you high school softball tonight from Atlantic. The Atlantic Trojans and the Clarinda Cardinals matching up for the second time tonight. Atlantic won the first time on June 16th, 16-2. Trojans 15-0 on the Hawkeye 10 with 3 games to go tonight. The doubleheader on Thursday with Red Oak, and the Cardinals come in at 14-8. Little League Appreciation Night, Little League Recognition Night is the public address announcer Bryce Smith just introduced to the teams and all those board of directors that are responsible for that program. And the youngsters paraded through the outfield, and a great night for them. He had a great night for high school softball. First Whitney Bank brings us our broadcast tonight. The only bank you'll ever need, First Whitney Bank. Body Basic, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics. And the Seed Pros are by your side to maximize yields. From the word go, your Pioneer Pros, John Becker, Mark Ventiger, Gary Dinkler, and Nick Knudsen. Also brought to you by Second Street Auto, your transmission pros. And Cass Health, the neighbors caring for neighbors. Outfitters Plus Outlet Store, your home for personalized sports apparel in Atlantic. And the Super Bowl. Grab the gang and head to the Super Bowl for Globe Bowling every Friday and Saturday night. Swida, they're safe, reliable. Swida for all your transportation needs. Stein Seed. Stein has yield. Contact your local Stein representative. And Hy-Vee, bakery, deli, grocery, meat department, and pharmacy, always there for you, your Atlantic Hy-Vee. Also brought to you by Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned full-line CarQuest retail store in Atlantic. And Greg Young Automotive Group in Atlantic, they go the extra mile for you. Olson's BP, great food, Godfather's Pizza, and quality BP fuel that keep you going company. Olson's BP in Atlantic. And Oak Point Wealth Management, now located at 611 Spruce Street. Call Aaron Friend today or visit oakpointwealth.com. And Rancho Grande, authentic Mexican food on West 7th Street in Atlantic. Brad Knight is the head coach of the Clarinda Cardinals. And the assistant coaches are Kayla Roberts, Sarah Keeler, and Andrea Muller. And the starting lineups for Clarinda, they'll lead off with Hadley Miller, a junior second baseman. Batting second, Stevie Wilmus. She'll play out in left field. Batting in the third spot, Riley Maher, a freshman center fielder. Batting cleanup, Annika Price, shortstop. Batting fifth, Janessa Woolsey, the junior third base person. Batting sixth, Hannah Worrell, a junior first baseman. Batting seventh, Maddie Cole, a senior right fielder. Batting eighth, Maya Harris, a junior DH. And Grace Fiddler will be in the circle for the Cardinals, a freshman pitching for Clarinda. There's Hadley Miller being introduced. This beautiful night for high school softball. The sun is shining bright out in the west. Stevie Wilmus, as you can see on your screen. Riley Maher, or Maher, I should say. Maher, center fielder. Annika Price.
Third baseman, number 41, Janessa Woolsey.
When you look at some of the stats here, there's several of these players from both sides that are ranked high in the Hawkeye 10. For instance, Riley Maher hitting 514. Maher 514. Lila Wiederstein is third in the conference for Atlantic with 7 home runs. Claire Schroeder has 6. She's fourth. Wiederstein with 40 RBIs. And Janessa Woolsey of Clarinda with 32 runs batted in for the Cardinals. Stolen bases, Riley Maher, 28. And we're going to see Peyton McLaren in the circle for Atlantic with a 1.87 ERA. She's first. In fact, Atlantic has the top 2 pitchers in the conference with Bren Lamb with a second highest, or second lowest ERA, I should say, at 2.35. Just some of those numbers to keep in mind here as we work our way through this softball game here tonight here in Atlantic. And really a great crowd on hand across the berm on the far side. Stands are full here. For Atlantic, they'll lead off with Lila Wiederstein hitting 484 in the year. She'll be the catcher. McKenna Schrader will bat second and play center field, hitting 324. Batting third will be London Kirchhoff, the right fielder, the 8th grader for Atlantic, hitting just shy of 400, right at 393. And batting cleanup for Atlantic will be Jillian Satoff. Satoff hitting 361, and she leads the league in what do you call chances? That's putouts at first base. Batting fifth, McLaren. Peyton McLaren, the junior, hitting 341. Batting sixth, Zoe Kirchhoff, the senior shortstop, hitting 344. Batting seventh, Claire Schroeder. She'll play third. She's hitting 333. And batting eighth will be Kinsley Johnson, hitting 297. Just an eighth grader. Olivia Knuth will be the designated player. The junior hitting 333. She'll be hitting for Dylan Ball, who is playing left field. So the local American Legion will be here with the flag as we'll have our national anthem. We'll keep it right here on your screen. A beautiful shot of the players lined up along the first base line and third base line. And the American flag right smack dab on the middle of home plate. We'll keep it right here for our national anthem. We'll be back with the opening pitch in 1 minute on KS 95.7 FM on our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com.
Beautiful night in Atlanta.
First Winnie Bank is the longest-standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Robinson with you alongside Fletcher Toft, who is our video guy here tonight. And a beautiful night for high school softball at Atlantic. Out in their white pants, pinstripe pants and gold jerseys. And the Cardinals with their white jerseys and black pants. White helmets as they get set to go here with Hadley Miller, the junior. It will lead off here in the top of the first inning for the Cardinals. Atlantic won the first time 16-2, but I gotta believe this time around going to be a little bit different story as McLaren gets set to go. Leads the league in ERA of just over 1.8. Here's the pitch, low and away for a ball. The count is 1-0. Trojans defensively with McLaren in the circle. Lila Wiederstein with the big gun behind the plate. And Jillian Satoff at a first. Kinsley Johnson at second. Zoe Kirchhoff at short and Claire Schroeder at third. McLaren sat. Here's the pitch inside. Ball 2-0. Dylan Ball in left. McKenna Schrader in center. And London Kirchhoff in right field for Atlantic. They're undefeated in the Hawkeye 10 Conference at 15-0. And they come into the game tonight with over 20 wins to 5 losses on the season. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way to Miller. That one slapped down the third baseline foul. And the count goes to 2 balls and a strike to Miller, leading off the top of the first inning for the Cardinals, hitting .292 on the season. Miller, a junior, she'll play second base when the Cardinals go out to the field. 2-1 the count. McLaren looks in. The sign and the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Now the count is even at 2-2. So McLaren went behind 2-0. She's come back with a couple of pitches right down the middle, and Miller trying to get hold of one. Stevie Wilmus is on deck for the Cardinals here in the top of the first inning. Hadley Miller, the junior, stands in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. McLaren looks in, gets the sign. She's sat. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. McLaren with a 2-0 count comes back and gets a strikeout on Miller. And there's one down for the Cardinals here in the top of the first inning. Stevie Wilmus will step in for Clarinda with nobody on and 1 out. Wilmus hitting .296 on the year. Right-handed hitter against McLaren, the right-handed thrower for the Trojans. Wilmus and then Riley Maher, the freshman for the Cardinals. Wilmus, a junior outfielder, right-handed hitter. Righty against righty here. Nobody on, 1 out for the Cardinals here at the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch coming. That's high and away for a ball, 1-0. McLaren took a little bit off that pitch. They play Wilmus straight away in center, left, and right. McKinnon straight to the center field is just right behind second base and middle distance in the outfield. Here's the 1-0 pitch by McLaren. Swing and a miss. The count is 1-1 to Stevie Wilmus. McLaren struck out Miller. Nobody on, 1 out for the Cardinals here at the top of the first inning. Trojans won that first game 16-2 on June the 16th. Atlantic 15-0 in the conference with 3 conference games left. Here's the pitch. High and away. Down it goes at 2 balls and a strike to Miller. Or to Wilmus, rather. Miller struck out. Looking at Wilmus' numbers, I mentioned hitting .296 on the year. She has 15 RBI. Here's a 2-1. Swung on, pop, foul, way up high behind the backstop. Now the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trojans coming off a doubleheader win last night over St. Albert on the road. They're home tonight. They had traveled to Roanoke on Thursday for a doubleheader. And then they host Dowling on Friday. We'll have a Dowling Atlanta game right here on KS 95.7 FM and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Evidently, Lila Wiederstein found something behind the plate. 2-2 the count to Stevie Wilmus, the left fielder for the Cardinals. McLaren set to go. 2 balls and 2 strikes. McLaren looks in and gets the sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on. That one's fouled straight back. And the count remains 2-2. Riley Maher is on deck for the Cardinals. Maher plays center field, just a freshman. Wilmus a junior. Miller a junior. Wilmus a junior. Maher rather freshman. Bryce, the cleanup hitter, is a senior. Pretty young team. That fastball's inside. The count is 3-2. Full count for Wilmus, the left fielder. Where's number 2 for the Cardinals? She'll stand back in. 3-2 pitch coming from Peyton McLaren to Stevie Wilmus of Clarinda. And the pitch is coming in. Swung on, tap to third. Schroeder scoops it up. Fires to first, gets the out. 2 up and 2 down for the Cardinals. Schroeder with a sure-handed third baseman for Atlantic, and Satoff, he's just a solid first base person for the Trojans. 2 up and 2 down for Clarinda. Here comes Riley Maher, the freshman, to the plate. Left-handed batter for the Cardinals. Riley Maher, a freshman, hitting .514. Rips one to right field, base hit and more. Maher rounds first, and the freshman will stand up with a double. A 2-out double for Maher. And the Cardinals have 1 on and 2 down in the top of the first inning. She got around on that one. And Riley Maher, with her 8th double of the season, launches one into right field. London Kirchhoff hustling after, gets in as quickly as she can. But now, Annika Price, the senior shortstop, will stand in with 1 on and 2 down here at the top of the first. Maher, the runner at first base, with that stand-up double. Here's the pitch. That one's popped up. Saytoff backing up, goes in foul territory at first and makes the catch. She bobbled it for a moment and got it just in front of the first base dugout. And that'll be it for the Cardinals. No runs. They got a hit. That stand-up double by Riley Maher. No errors, and they leave one. We're through one half. Atlantic will come to bat in the bottom half of the first right after this 1-minute timeout.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knudsen, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Atlantic softball on KS 95.7 FM.
Welcome back to Atlantic as we're set for the Trojans. Aside Grace Fiddler in the circle for Clarinda. Riley Wake is the catcher. And a whirl at first. Hadley Miller is at second. Annika Price at short. Janessa Woolsey at third. Stevie Wilmison left. Riley Maher in center. Maddie Cole in right. And here comes Lila Wiederstein. Leads the team hitting .484 on the season. A rod-headed hitter is Fiddler. The youngster will go to work for the Cardinals. No scores. We go the Trojan side of the first inning. Here's the pitch coming. That one's a strike called. Nice pitch by Fiddler. She painted that inside edge on the lower end of the plate in the strike zone. Not a really good pitch for Lila Wiederstein to hit. We'll see if she can set up here. The righty gets righty. 0-1 the count. Wiederstein leading off Atlantic in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the pitch. Change up is a strike call. Nice pitch by Fiddler. And she works ahead of Wiederstein 0-2. Lila, the senior catcher for Atlantic, 44 hits so far this season. Just another amazing year for this all-conference player. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Wiederstein and a hitter. So Wiederstein is aboard for Atlantic with the hit by pitch. And that brings up McKenna Schrader to the plate.
For Atlantic, the center fielder, McKenna Schrader.
Schrader, a rod-headed batter, hitting .324, plays center field for Atlantic. One on, nobody down here in the bottom half of the first inning. No score. The Cardinals at 4 to the plate. They had a two-bagger, and that was it in that inning. There's a squared bunt. Nice one down the first base line. Here's the throw. They'll get Schrader, but the sacrifice bunt is made. And Wiederstein advances to second. Nice sack bunt by Schrader to advance Wiederstein to second.
The right fielder for the Trojans, number 2.
London Kirchhoff will stand in with Wiederstein with a lot of speed at second base for the Trojans. 1 on, 1 out for Atlantic. No score. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Fiddler sat. And here's the pitch to Kirchhoff. That's going to be a strike call to the knees. Count 0-1. Fiddler's had good control here from the get-go. Was ahead of Wiederstein 0-2 in the count, then hit her. Schrader got a good pitch down the middle, hit that sack bunt. Boy, that was a beauty. I'll tell you, that one was perfectly laid down by Schrader. Pushed Wiederstein to second base. Here's the 0-1. That one's outside. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Kirchhoff with Jill Saytoff, the junior first base person, on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the first inning. Trojans, again, coming off that doubleheader win last night against St. Albert. They're unblemished in the Hawkeye 10 at 15-0. Only 5 losses on the season. Here's the 1-1. Change up is lifted high to right. In comes Maddie Cole to make the catch. And she'll get the ball to third. A nice play by Maddie Cole as Kirchhoff flies out to right, and that'll bring up Jill Satoff.
Number 14, Jillian Satoff.
361 batter, the junior, with Wiederstein at second. Wiederstein hit by a pitch with the second of the sack bunt. Kirchhoff flew out to right. Now there's 2 down for Atlantic. No score. Bottom half of the first inning. 1 on and 2 down. Satoff, a right-handed hitter. 361 batter. Here's the pitch. That's a pitch outside for a ball. Satoff had a good night last night. 3 hits in game number 2 against the Saints. Right-handed hitting junior. Wiederstein at second with 2 down. Satoff back in. 1 ball and no strikes. Grace Fiddler, the pitcher. Riley Wake, the catcher for Clarinda. We're in the bottom half of the first. Here's the pitch on the way. Outside for a ball. The count goes to 2-0 as Fiddler falls behind for the first time here in this frame. She was ahead of Wiederstein when she hit her. And Lila Wiederstein stands at second with 2 down here in the bottom half of the first as Fiddler looks in. 2 balls and no strikes to Satoff. Fiddler comes set. Here's the pitch. Swung on and ripped down the left side and foul. She was way ahead of that one. And the count goes to 2-1 to Jill Satoff with Peyton McLaren, the Atlantic pitcher, on deck. Satoff back in. Fiddler getting set to go. 2-1 the count. 1 out and 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the first. Fiddler looks in to get the sign from Riley Wake. Fiddler set. Where's number 23? Here's the pitch on the way. Changeup is high. There goes Wiederstein to third. And she's safe as the ball popped out of the hands of Woolsey. It's not an error. Now the count is 2-1 to Satoff with a runner at third base. So Wiederstein gets the stolen bag for Atlantic. 3 balls and a strike is the count to Satoff. Here's the pitch on the way. Strike called. Delayed call, but it looked good. At 3-2, the count. A beautiful pitch by Fiddler. Right at the outside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic here at the bottom of the first. No score. As Fiddler gets set, Wiederstein stands at third for the Trojans. Fiddler ready. And the 3-2 pitch on the way. Changeup is high for ball 4. Pretty good piece of hitting by Satoff. Now the count, or the Satoff goes to second. Atlantic has runners at second and third with 2 down for Peyton McLaren, the junior. McLaren will stand in for the Trojans. And Peyton, a right-handed hitter. As Fiddler goes to work, 2 on and 2 down. First base is open. Runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. That's outside for a ball 1. Peyton McLaren has had a great year at the plate as well. McLaren comes in hitting right at 341 on the season. When you look at her RBIs, McLaren has 6 RBIs so far, and she's got a chance to add to that with runners at second and third. Here's the pitch by Fiddler. That's way outside. The count goes to 2-0. And Fiddler cognizant of what Peyton McLaren could do at the plate. McLaren 15 hits on the year and 44 at bats, 13 singles, a couple of doubles for the Trojans. 2-0 the count with Jillian Satoff at second, Wiederstein at third. Fiddler in the circle for the Trojans. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That just missed inside. Now the count is 3-0. Well, it doesn't matter if she walks McLaren with first base open, then that would put a force at every bag with 2 down. On deck is Zoe Kirchhoff, the shortstop of the Trojans. Fiddler looks in. Here's the 3-0 pitch on the way. That's going to be a strike, and the count is 3-1. And they play McLaren straight away in center, left and right. Riley Maher is in center field. Maddie Cole in right and Stevie Wilmison left. 3 balls and 1 strike to McLaren. We're in the bottom of the first inning. 2 on, 2 down. Here's the pitch. That's a strike called at the knees. Now the count is 3-2 to McLaren. Satoff at second, Wiederstein at third. With 2 outs, a big at bat here from McLaren, the bottom half of the first, to see if the Trojans can get the engine running here. Fiddler set to go. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Forthcoming. Here it is to McLaren. Swung on, ripped to the hole, left base hit. That'll score 2. Wiederstein scores. Here comes Satoff, and she's safe. The throw was close. Satoff didn't slide, but she scores for Atlantic. And a 2 RBI double for Peyton McLaren, and she comes in the clutch. And the Trojans lead 2-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning with a 2 RBI double by Peyton McLaren.
Second base for Atlantic, number 19, Maddie McLaren.
Maddie McLaren, the younger sister of Peyton, will run for Big Sis at second base. 2-0 Trojans here in the bottom half of the first. Now that double by Peyton McLaren driving in a pair of runs for Atlantic as they lead 2-0. That was the third double of the year for Peyton McLaren. And now 8 RBI for the junior. So here is Zoe Kirchhoff hitting .344 in the season. 1 on, 2 down, 2 in. Here's the pitch. That's a strike called. Fiddler's throwing strikes. And the count is 0-1 to Zoe. Zoe's been solid all year. 32 of 93 at the plate, hitting .344. She has 16 RBI on the year. And she's got Maddie McLaren, the runner at second base, with 2 down here in the first. The pitch, way outside. Count goes to 1-1. On deck for the Trojans, Claire Schroeder, the senior, hitting .333. Zoe Kirchhoff, the 6th hitter to appear here in the bottom half of the first inning. Wiederstein and Satoff, who had free bases. Wiederstein hit by a pitch, and Satoff walked. Both scored. Here's the 1-1. There's a rip up the middle, base hit. That's going to drive in McLaren. Atlantic will take a 3-0 lead, and Zoe Kirchhoff with another RBI for the Trojans. And Maddie McLaren will score the 3rd Atlantic run here in the bottom half of the first inning. And Coach Brad Knight is going to head out to the circle, and as he does, we're going to take a timeout. We're back in 30 seconds on KS95 and our live video stream, westerniowatoday.com.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
Claire Schroeder will stand in, 1 on and 2 down and 3 in for Atlantic. All the damage done with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. Wiederstein scoring, Satoff scoring. McLaren with the 2 RBI double gets a run in. That pitch is outside for ball 1. Maddie McLaren running for Peyton scored on Zoe Kirchhoff's RBI single. And the Trojans up 3-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning. Schroeder hitting .333, the 7th hitter to appear here in the frame. We're in the bottom half of the first. Fiddler looks in to get the sign, and the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and ripped in the hole and left. Racing to second is Zoe Kirchhoff, and Atlantic has 2 on and 2 down. Here in the bottom half of the first inning, leading 3-0. So Schroeder with a single. Kirchhoff goes to second base. Atlantic with a 3-0 lead, 3 runs on 3 hits. 2 RBI double by Peyton McLaren, RBI single by Zoe Kirchhoff. And now Schroeder at first, Kirchhoff at second, and Kinsley Johnson hitting just shy of 300. The 8th grader will stand in, a right-handed batter. The 8th grader, the 8th hitter in the lineup for Atlantic with Olivia Knuth, the DP, on deck. Trojans have 2 on, 2 down, and 3 in. 3-0 Atlantic here in the bottom half of the first. As Fiddler, the youngster in the circle, just a freshman, is set to go against Kinsley Johnson. Here's the pitch. Pop, fly, blooper, right side. Over comes Maddie Cole to make the catch. So Johnson went after the first pitch. She lofted that in right center field, and Maddie Cole drifted to her right and made the catch, and that'll be it for the Trojans. But They get off to a good start. They score 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and Atlantic left the pair. We're back in 1 minute on KS 95.7 FM.
At Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic, you'll find the latest apparel and promotional products in the newest colors and designs. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports team, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where did you get that?" Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop in today.
Looking for the place to party in Atlantic? It's the Super Bowl, your party headquarters for birthdays, family outings, date nights, and more. Feeling competitive? Challenge your crew to a few games and see who's king of the lanes. Don't miss Glow Bowling every Friday and Saturday night. Lights, music, and nonstop fun. Ready to roll? Call Dan at 243-4656 to book your lanes today. The Super Bowl in Atlantic, where good times roll.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Go to the top of the second. Trojans up 3-0. And Janessa Woolsey leads off a hot shot to short. Stabbed by Kirchhoff. Fires to first and gets the out. What a play. That was an all-conference play, maybe an all-state play by Zoe Kirchhoff, the shortstop, who backhanded that hard hit ball out in the left. And there's one down, a big out, and what a play by Zoe Kirchhoff. And there's one out for the Cardinals here in the top of the second. Atlantic with a 3-0 lead. Hannah Worrell will stand in for Clarinda. Peyton McLaren set to go. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Might have got a little bit of it, but the ball right into Wiederstein's glove. Count 0-1 to Worrell. Atlantic 3 runs on 3 hits in the bottom half of the first to take the lead. Worrell at the plate with nobody on and one out here in the top of the second. McLaren brings the 0-1 pitch. That one swung on and missed. Count 0-2. Hannah Worrell, a junior. First base person for the Cardinals. Maddie Cole, the right fielder's on deck for Clarinda here in the top of the second inning. Great play by Kirchhoff at short. That was a hard hit ball, too. 0-2 pitches way outside. Count 1-2. Kirchhoff, one of the top shortstops, no doubt, in the conference. And a great play hit short. McLaren in the circle for Atlantic. 1-2 the count to Hannah Worrell, the junior. McLaren looks in. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Popped up. Shallow center. McKenna Schrader coming in. Johnson goes out from second base and makes the catch.
That's Kinsley Johnson on the catch.
Kinsley Johnson with the catch. Schrader probably would have gotten to it, but Johnson was there. And now there's 2 down for the Cardinals here in the top of the second. Atlantic with a 3-0 lead. And Maddie Cole, the right fielder, will step in. 3 straight putouts for McLaren. Price popped up. Woolsey ground out, and Worrell pops up. Nobody on, 2 down here at the top of the second.
More at steinseed.com.
Softball on KS 95.7 FM.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go the Trojan side of the second. Atlantic with a 3-0 lead on the Seed Pro scoreboard. Olivia Knuth, the batter, the 9th hitter in the lineup for Atlantic, the designated hitter, will step in with the Trojans 3 runs on the 3 hits. And Knuth, a very capable hitter, hitting .333 at the plate. Better in the circle for the Cardinals. Here's the pitch coming. That's low for a ball. They call that a strike at the knees. Count 0-1 to Olivia. Knuth, a right-handed hitting junior for the Trojans. Getting .333 on the year. 0-1 the count as Fiddler looks in. Atlantic up 3-0. We're in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. That one's a strike called inside edge. Fiddler's hitting those corners. She hit the outside edge of the knees and out back on the inside edge. Nice job by Grace Fiddler. Just a youngster, just a freshman for Clarinda. Knuth leading off for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. 0-2 the count to Knuth. Then back the top of the order with Wiederstein. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss with a changeup, and Fiddler gets her first strikeout of the ball game.
Back to the top of the order.
And there's nobody on and one out for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the second inning. Atlantic up 3-0. Wiederstein hit by a pitch. Satoff walked. Pay McLaren with a 2-out, 2 RBI double, put Atlantic up 2-0. And then Zoe Kirchhoff drove in Maddie McLaren running for Peyton with an RBI single. This is Wiederstein. Here's the pitch. That's the strike called a beauty by Fiddler. Fiddler's allowed 3 runs on 3 hits. 1 strikeout, no walks. She throws strikes. And the count is 0-1 to Lila Wiederstein with 1 out here in the bottom half of the second. Fiddler looks in, gets the sign. Here's the pitch coming in. Swung on, hit to second base. Knocked down by Miller. Fires over to Whirl at first. 2 up and 2 down for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the second. And then McKenna Schrader will step in for Atlantic. Schrader had that great sacrifice bunt in that first inning. And after Wiederstein was hit by a pitch, she pushed her to second. Schrader hitting .324 will step in for Atlantic with nobody on and 2 down. 3-0 Atlantic here in the bottom half of the second inning. Fiddler looks in, comes set. And here's the pitch on the way inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Schrader with London Kirchhoff, the 8th grader on deck. She flew out to right her first time up. Trojans did all their damage with 2 down to the bottom half of the first. They scored 3 runs with 2 out. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits. Here's the pitch on the way outside. The count is 2-0 to McKenna Schrader. Schrader, the second hitter of the Trojan lineup, hitting .324. Then Kirchhoff, London, the 8th graders on deck. She's hitting .393, just shy of 400. She's having a great year. And so is Kinsley Johnson, the other 8th grader for Atlantic, who plays second base. 2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Swung on a tapper to third. Knocked down by Woolsey. Fires the first, and that's it. Atlantic goes down in order. 1, 2, 3. Trojans 3-0 over Clarinda. We're back in a minute.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
Whoa, is that bacon?
Nope, that's things heating up at Atlantic and Audubon Egg and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest stores.
Ooh, tell me the juicy stuff, Amy Jo.
The temps are rising and we're ready. Big rig brakes, pickup brakes, car brakes. If it stops, we got the parts.
That's not juicy, that's responsible.
Oh, it gets juicier. Lawnmower parts? Yup, and we're hydraulic hose specialists.
Uh-oh, busted hose spraying everywhere?
Not for long. We can make a replacement for almost anything.
Now that's juicy.
Atlantic and Audubon Egg and Auto, keeping you rolling, mowing, flowing all summer long.
Dang it. Did you say bacon?
Here we go, the top of the third inning. Atlantic with a 3-0 lead. 3 runs on 3 hits for the Trojans. Maya Harris, the designated hitter, will lead off for Clarinda. Grace Fiddler on deck, and then Hadley Miller back to the top of the order for the Cardinals here on their side of the third. Cardinals with a pair of hits, no runs yet. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. Maya Harris, a junior slap hitter, bats from the left side of the plate. The count is 0-1. McLaren with no strike, 1 strikeout. She struck out Miller to lead off the top of the first inning. Otherwise, no walks. He leads the team in walks with hardly any and leads the Hawkeye 10 conference in walk. That pitch moves the count to 1-1 with the outside of the plate. Harris, the batter, left-handed hitter, slapper for Clarinda. Here's the pitch. She'll wing it to third. A line drive caught by Claire Schroeder. And there's 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Nice contact by Harris, just right at Schroeder, who gloved it. And here comes Grace Fiddler. Nobody on and 1 out for the Cardinals here in the top of the third. Atlantic up 3-0. Fiddler, a freshman pitcher, has done a great job. She's allowed 3 runs and 3 hits, but had pretty good control. She did hit a batter, and she walked 1 and then settled in in that second inning, retiring the side for Atlantic. Here's the pitch, strike called. Beauty by Peyton McLaren. 0-1 the count to Fiddler, right-handed batter. Then Miller will step in next for the Cardinals here in the top of the third. Nobody on, one out. Atlantic up 3-0. Here's the 0-1. Boy, that just missed inside. The count 1-1 to Grace Fiddler. Right-hand hitting freshman for the Cardinals. Stand back in. Peyton McLaren with an ERA of 1.87 coming in. She only had 8 walks so far this season. There's a pop up to second and one hopper. Picked up by Johnson. Got to hurry, and she gets the out.
Johnson will throw it Satoff.
Nice job by Kinsley Johnson over to Satoff. 2 up and 2 down for the Cardinals here in the top of the third inning. And back to the top of the order for Clarinda with Hadley Miller. Again, looking at Peyton McLaren here this season. She's pitched. She has a 9-0 record, 63 innings pitched, and she's allowed 21 runs on 54 hits. She's walked only 8 and struck out 57, including that strikeout of Miller, who's at the plate right now. Here's the pitch. That's a strike call. Count 0-1. Nobody on, 2 down for the Cardinals. Here at the top of the third inning. Atlantic up 3-0. Hadley Miller at the plate for Clarinda. McLeod goes back to work. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back. McLaren works ahead. 0-2 on the count. McLaren had an injury early in the season, so he didn't start right away, but she's 9-0. Then Bryn Lamp is 14-4. They're both 1-2 in the Hawkeye 10 Conference in ERA. McLaren 1.87, and then Bryn Lamp 2.35. She's been outstanding. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for McLaren. And she retires the side for the Cardinals. No runs, no hits, no errors, and there were no runners left on base. Atlantic coming to bat in the bottom half of the third with a 3-0 lead.
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram. Or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. Add fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Trojans up 3-0 as they go to bat here in the bottom half of the third inning. London Kirchhoff will stand in. Then Jill Satoff.
The bottom of the third for Atlantic.
Peyton McLaren.
Kirchhoff.
London flew out to ride her first time up, hitting .393 of the year. Fiddler goes to work, a right-hander. Trojans up 3-0 here in the bottom half of the third inning. Fiddler in the circle for Clarinda. Looks and gets a sign from Riley Wake. Here's the pitch. Rockets one in left field, out of play. Way ahead here is London Kirchhoff, the 8th grader, really having a great season for Atlantic. London so far hitting, as mentioned, .393 in the year. 35 of 89 of the season. 11 doubles, 1 home run, and 23 RBI. That ranks right up there. About 4th highest. Wiederstein has 40 RBI for Atlantic. 1-1 the count to London Kirchhoff leading off the third. Here's the pitch way outside. The count goes to 1-1 to London Kirchhoff, the right fielder, and she's played in all 28 games. Has started in all 28 games for Atlantic. This is her 91st at bat on the season, official at bat. 1 ball and 1 strike to London Kirchhoff. What a future she has ahead of her. Here's the pitch, way outside, 2 balls and a strike. Trojans scored all 3 runs in that first inning. Wiederstein was hit by a pitch. Schrader had a sack bunt. Lennon Kirchhoff flew to right. There were 2 down when Satoff walked, and then Bay McLaren had a 2 RBI double. Drove home Wiederstein and Satoff, and then Kirchhoff, Zoe had an RBI single. They're driving that 3rd run. There's a line drive left field, and a great try by Wilmus, but can't get it. Lennon Kirchhoff will go to second with a stand-up double. Wilmus got a glove on it, but that was a tough play for Wilmus. We're going to give Lennon Kirchhoff a 2-bagger there. But what a great effort by Wilmus going towards the line. Atlantic has their leadoff hitter aboard here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Trojans up 3-0 as Jill Satoff, the first baseman, will stand in. Satoff walked her first time up.
Be a new pitcher for the Cardinals.
And we're going to have a pitching change. So a pitching change for the Cardinals, and we'll take a timeout as we get more on the new pitcher for Clarinda coming up.
Changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit oakpointwealth.com. Call 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Why is the oxygen tank empty again?
Empty? That's impossible. I just filled it.
You didn't leave the valve open, did ya? How many times do I gotta say it? Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty.
Amy Jo, this isn't rocket science. It's farm science.
Let me guess. Acetylene's empty too. Yep, knew it. Funny how the tanks are empty, but someone around here is still full of hot air.
What'd you say?
I said Atlantic Ag and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest Auto Parts store, has welding supplies. Save the lecture, skip the arguing, and just call 712-254-7373.
Bet you're sweet acetylene
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit oakpointwealth.com. Call 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Welcome back to Atlantic. As Mackenzie Kane, the junior, is in the circle now for Clarinda, replacing Grace Fiddler, who went 2 innings. And then the base hit by Kirchhoff, the double at second. Here's the pitch to Satoff, a tapper to third. Charging Woolsey, she can't handle it. And Satoff reaches first on the error.
The base hit.
So Kirchhoff goes to third. Atlantic has 2-1. And nobody down here in the bottom half of the third. Whoops, check that. That's called a foul. So Satoff will come back. And London Kirchhoff's back to second. I need an eraser, Fletcher, because I wrote that down too quick. 1-1 the count to Satoff. Bay McLaren on deck with the bottom half of the third. Atlantic up 3-0. Here's the pitch to Satoff. Swung on a hot shot down the third baseline, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the junior first baseman, who leads the league in chances, and that means she has the most putouts. Zoe Kirchhoff in the top 5 with assists for the Trojans. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Jill Satoff, hitting .361 before tonight. Walked and scored in the first. That pitch is ripped down the left side again. That was an inside pitch. Satoff just knocked it off the handle. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the junior. London Kirchhoff with the double stands at second base. She had a liner to left. Stevie Wilmus, the left fielder for the Cardinals, made a great effort. Just couldn't quite get to it. She did get the webbing of her glove on it, but it's a double. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, and it is swung on. A grounded short. Stabbed by Price. Throws to first and gets the out.
Satoff will be thrown out at first base.
So Price to Worrell on a 6-3. And there's 1 out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the third with London Kirchhoff at second. Payne McClare with a 2 RBI double the first inning will step in. Atlantic up 3-0. 3 runs on 4 hits. Cardinals no runs on 2. London Kirchhoff, the runner at second with 1 out here in the bottom half of the third inning. And Payne McClaren will step in. 8 RBI from McLaren. She looks at one low and away. The count is 1-0. Paige McLaren hitting .341 before the game tonight. Right-hand hitter into the circle for the Trojans. We're in the bottom half of the third. Mackenzie Kane, the pitcher for Clarinda. Looks in. Here's the 1-0 delivery on the way. Swung on. Little blooper to second. Caught by Hadley Miller at second base. London Kirchhoff dives back safely. And now there's 2 down for the Trojans here in the bottom of the third inning. Zoe Kirchhoff had an RBI single to back in the first. Will step in with London Kirchhoff, her younger sister, the 8th grader, at second base. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic in the bottom of the third. Trojans leading 3-0 on the Seed Pros scoreboard. And Kane will look into Wake to get the sign. Here's the pitch. In the dirt for a ball, 1-0 the count. So London Kirchhoff led off the frame with a double. She'll Satoff. Ground out to Price at short. And McLaren lined out to Miller at second base. 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the third inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch coming into Kirchhoff, and Zoe looks at one at the knees for a strike, and the count is 1-1 to the senior shortstop. She had an outstanding play at short here. At the top of the frame, just nice stab at it, a backhanded play that was headed towards the hole and left. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Zoe, high for a ball. 2 balls, a strike to Kirchhoff here in the bottom half of the third. London is at second. Zoe scored 22 runs this season. She has 32 hits at 93 plate appearances. She's started all 28 games for Atlantic. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on to left field, base hit. Here comes London Kirchhoff around third. She'll score. Zoe goes to second.
That's an RBI.
And an RBI double for Zoe Kirchhoff. And Atlantic now with a 4-0 lead. 4 runs and 5 hits. We're in the bottom of the third inning, and there's 2 down. And when you go back to that first inning, Atlantic scored 3 runs on 3 hits with 2 down. And now at 2 outs, Zoe Kirchhoff delivers for the Trojans. And she just picked up her 17th, 18th RBI on the season. She had an RBI in the first inning and 1 here in the third. Atlantic up 4-0 over the Cardinals, and Claire Schroeder at the plate. Here's the pitch in the dirt for a ball, count 1-0. Schroeder had a single her last time up. She was left at first base. Claire Schroeder having a solid year. She started all 28 games for Atlantic. Scored 29 runs. She's 24 of 72 on the season. Here's the 1-0. That's outside. 2-0 the count. Zoe Kirchhoff, the runner at second base for the Trojans. And Zoe Kirchhoff just belts her 13th double of the season. 2-0 the count to Schroeder. Here in the bottom of the third, Atlantic up 4-0. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on. That's fouled off. 2 balls and a strike to Claire Schroeder. Kinsley Johnson on deck for the Trojans. He flew out to right her first time up. Schroeder with that single will step in for the Trojans. Schroeder picked up her 11th single. She has 8 doubles this year and 6 home runs. That ranks the top 5 in the conference. 2-1 pitch in the dirt, gets away as Zoe Kirchhoff alertly runs to third. And now the Trojans have a runner 60 feet away with 2 down here in the bottom half of the third and a 4-0 lead. Schroeder stands away. She's the 7th hitter in the Atlantic lineup. Johnson, the 8th hitter, and then Knuth, and then back to the top. There's 2 down, though, for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the third. Kane the sign, Kane the pitch, and that one's inside, ball 4. Schroeder draws the walk for Atlantic. Now runners at first and third for the Trojans. And Schroeder with her 11th walk of the season at first base. And we'll see, yep, and she'll take second just like that. Stolen base for Schroeder. Runners at second and third for Johnson. The right-handed hitting right fielder. Atlantic up 4-0, 2 on, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Johnson swings, hits one towards the middle. Picked up by Price, and she can't handle it. Then run scores for Atlantic.
RBI single.
So Kinsley Johnson with an RBI single. And Zoe Kirchhoff, who had that stolen base, scores from third. Atlantic up 5-0 now, and 5 hits here in the bottom half of the third inning with 2 down. Trojans have runners at first and third again. Claire Schroeder advanced to third on the hit, and Johnson with that RBI single at first. Olivia Knuth, who struck out her first time up against Fiddler, now facing Kane here in the bottom of the third inning. Atlantic won their first outing back on the 16th of June, 16-2. Atlantic 15-0 in the conference with this game and a doubleheader with Red Oak left to go. One of those years the Trojans, they've been outstanding here this season. Here's the pitch coming, swung on a chopper to short. Picked up by Price, throws to first for the out. 6-3, and that'll be it for the Trojans here in the bottom half of the third inning, but they make some more noise. They scored 2 runs on 3 hits, a couple of doubles. RBI double by Zoe Kirchhoff, an RBI single by Kinsley Johnson. And we go to the top of the fourth, Atlantic with a 5-0 lead. We're back right after these.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit oakpointwealth.com. Call 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
Rancho Grande in Atlantic has it all. Delicious food, great atmosphere, and a convenient location. Authentic Mexican food starts with chips and salsa, and you can add guac or queso. Enjoy everything from tacos, burritos, tamales, chimichangas, fajitas, and more in a variety of options. Leave room for dessert like bring the whole family, a date night, even a business lunch at Rancho Grande. Located West 7th Street, open 7 days a week with dine-in, carry-out, and catering available at Rancho Grande in Atlantic.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go to the top of the fourth. Trojans with a 5-0 lead, 5 runs and 5 hits. Cardinals, no runs on 2 hits, 1 error. Atlantic has played unblemished defense so far through the first 3 innings. Stevie Wilmus will lead off for the Cardinals here at the top of the fourth. Riley Maher on deck. Annika Price will also bat 2, 3, and 4 for the Trojans, or for the Cardinals here at the top of the fourth inning. Paige McLaren back in the circle for Atlantic. 1.87 ERA. Here's the pitch inside for a ball. McLaren with 2 strikeouts and no walks so far here in the ball game, and count 1-0 to Stevie Wilmus, the left fielder. Ground out to third her first time up. She waits for McLaren to come set in the circle. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. A pitch on the inside corner of the plate. Atlantic with 3 pitchers, with Johnson, the 8th grader. She's pitched 16 innings. Peyton McLaren, 63 innings. Bryn Lamp has pitched 89 for the Trojans. Lamp 14-4. McLaren 9-0 on the year. 1 ball and 1 strike to Wilmus here in the top of the fourth. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Easy play for Kirchhoff, and there's the out. Kirchhoff with a 6-3, her second assist here in the ball game. Nobody on, 1 out for the Cardinals. Here at the top of the fourth. Atlantic up 5-0.
The center fielder.
Riley Maher, the center fielder, the freshman, doubled her first time up. A left-handed hitter will stand in. Is one of the 2 hits for Clarinda. Maddie Cole has the other, but they're both left on base. Nobody on, 1 out here in the fourth. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. 5-0 Trojans. They played it 3 in the first and 2 more in the bottom half of the third. Maher, the freshman left-handed hitter. 1-0 the counts to Maher. Back to McLaren, only 8 walks this season. She has not hit a batter. Here's the 1-0. That's outside. 2-0 the count. As I mentioned, 8 walks. She has 58 strikeouts with those 2 Ks here in this one. Teams hitting only .216 against her, who so far this season. 2 of the counts to Maher. The pitch. Swung on, a hot shot to short, base hit. Freddie Maher now with a double and a single for the Cardinals. It's the third hit for Clarinda. 1 on and 1 out for the Cardinals here in the top of the fourth. Atlantic with a 5-0 lead. And Annika Price, the shortstop, will step in. She popped up to Satoff, the first baseman for Atlantic in foul territory, her first time up. Wilmus grounds out to short. Now Maher with the single. 1 on, 1 out for the Cardinals. Atlantic up 5-0 with the top of the fourth. Here's the pitch. That's a strike called a beauty. Right there at the knees for Peyton McLaren. Janessa Woolsey, the shortstop, is on deck for Clarinda here in the fourth inning. Price is senior. And they play her straight away and fairly deep in center. The pitch. High for a ball. 1-1 the count to Price. A right-handed batter for the Cardinals. Lots of action tonight in the Hawkeye 10 Conference softball. With Chenoweth Crescent, here's the pitch. Chopper towards a hole in left. Stabbed by Kirchhoff. It's going to be an infield single, but a great stop by Kirchhoff again. Price with the infield hit. That was headed towards the hole in left, but Kirchhoff able to stab it and keep it in the dirt. And now there's 2 on and 1 out for Clarinda as they get something to go in here in the top of the fourth inning. They trail Atlantic 5-0. And here's Woolsey, Janessa Woolsey at the plate. She ground out to Kirchhoff, who had an outstanding play back in the second inning. Maher at second, Price at first, 1 out. Here's the pitch on the way, swung on, a chopper to second. That's a base hit. That could score a run, and it will. Here comes Maher across the plate, and 3 singles in a row for the Cardinals. Woolsey with an RBI. She's at first, and Price goes to second. And now it's a 5-1 game. Cardinals chip into the Trojan lead with 1 run now and 5 hits. 3 consecutive after Wilmus ground out to short. Maher with that single and scored on Woolsey's RBI single. Price a single. And now Worrell to play with runners at first and second and 1 out here at the top of the fourth. McLaren wheels, deals. That one's inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. Maddie Cole on deck. She also had one of the 5 hits for Clarinda. In the top of the fourth, Atlantic 5 runs, 5 hits. Cardinals 1 run and 5 hits. Price at second. Woolsey the runner at first. McLaren looks in. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Worrell. Swung on, popped up. Schroeder goes back to left field. Here comes Kirchhoff, and Schroeder makes the catch. I believe that would have been in foul territory, but it's right there on the line. Dylan Ball was coming in. Kirchhoff was coming to help, but Schroeder made the tough catch with her back to the home plate and was able to snag it. That's a big out for Atlantic. Right there is Worrell. Flies out to third, and I think that was probably in foul territory, but it was close. Maddie Cole, the batter, with 2 on and 2 down. 5-1 the Trojans with the lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Cole single the last time up. The lefty swats one right back where it came from. McLaren gobbles it up, fires to first, and gets out of the inning. But the Cardinals scored 1 run on 3 hits, and they left a pair. Atlantic coming to bat in the bottom half of the fourth inning with a 5-1 lead.
First Windy Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Windy Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We go the bottom half of the fourth. The Trojans with a 5-1 lead. The Cardinals got something going in the top of the fourth. Atlantic played 3 runs in the first and 2 more in the third as they come to bat with Lila Winterstein, the leadoff hitter for the Trojans. Lila hit by a pitch and scored in the first and ground out to second base her last time up. Winterstein, a right-handed thrower, or batter and thrower, stands in. Mackenzie Kane pitching in relief in the circle. We're in the bottom half of the fourth. Trojans up 5-1. Here's the pitch by Kane. That's inside for a ball. The count 1-0 to Winterstein. Lila Winterstein on base percentage 842 of the season. That's just crazy. 1-0 pitch. There's a foul ball straight back. Lila this season has a 32-run score. She has 44 hits on the year. She had 40 RBIs to lead the team. Count is 1-1 to Lila here in the bottom half of the fourth. Atlantic with a 5-1 lead. Kane in the circle for the Cardinals. The sign and the pitch, swung on, base hit to the hole and left. Winterstein takes a look at second, is held at first. Winterstein with the single to lead off the bottom half of the fourth inning. So Lila Winterstein gets the Trojans something going here in the bottom of the fourth. Just back her 45th hit of the year. That was her 30th single of the season. 1-0, nobody down for Atlantic in the bottom half of the fourth. They lead 5-1. Schrader, the batter, had a great sac bunt in the first inning, then ground out to third her last time up. Here's the pitch. She showed bunt again. Winterstein stealing all the way. Didn't need a sacrifice there. Winterstein with great speed, a good jump. Picks up the second stolen bag for Winterstein here in the ball game. And Lila with 15 stolen bases on the year. 0-1 the count to Schrader. Atlantic up 5-1. Here's the pitch. The bunt shown. Pitch outside. Winterstein going to third. Slides under the throw. Is safe. It goes out to the left. And Winterstein will score. And Atlantic up 6-1. Well, Wake threw down to third. It got away. And Winterstein with another stolen base. And then scores on the error. And Atlantic now with a 6-1 lead here in the bottom half of the fourth with nobody down. And McKenna Schrader, the batter, now she'll swing away. Schrader hitting .324 on the year. Right-handed hitter at the plate for the Trojans. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Here's the pitch coming, swing and a miss. 1-2 to McKenna Schrader. She's played in 27 of the 28 games for Atlantic. She has 70 at bats coming in. She stands in for the 73rd time this season. 1 ball and 2 strikes to pitch. Tapper to third, foul. Count goes to 1-2. McKenna Schrader, the second hitter of the Trojan lineup. Coach Hensman has really kind of mixed things around all year in that lineup. Winterstein has been a solid leadoff hitter for Atlantic from start to finish. Schrader has bounced around from the mid part of the order to the now second tonight. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a changeup high. 2-2 count to McKenna Schrader. Schrader 14 singles, 8 doubles on the year, 1 triple, 18 RBI. She's walked just 7 times. The count is 2-2. The pitch, swing and a miss. Strikeout for Kane. Her first strikeout in relief, and now there's 1 down for Atlantic in the bottom half of the fourth, and a 6-1 lead. 6 runs on 8 hits, and London Kirchhoff, who had the double and scored the third, will step in. Nobody on. One out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fourth. Jill Satoff is on deck for the Trojans. Mackenzie Kane in the circle for the Cardinals. Gets the sign and the pitch. Low and in for a ball. The count 1-0 to London Kirchhoff. An 8th grader that's had a sensational year as well, hitting .393. She's 1 for 2 tonight with that double. London with 12 doubles on the season for Atlantic. She's got a slugging percentage of .551. 1-0 pitch is low. 2-0 the count to London. She came in hitting .393. Her average not hurt at all with that double. She flew to right and had that double and scored on Zoe Kirchhoff's RBI two-bagger. Trojans played 3 runs in the first and 2 in the third and 1 in this frame. There's a chopper to third, scooped up nicely by Woolsey over to first for the out.
Woolsey with the catch.
5-3. Now 2 down for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Brings in the first baseman for the Trojans. Number 4.
Jill Satoff will step in, walked and scored, and reached. Now she ground out her last time up. Satoff hitting well. Now is moving to that cleanup spot for Atlantic. He's appeared at the plate 85 times this season. Here's the pitch by Kane. Swung on, hit to left, back, and dropped by Wilmus. Satoff will cruise to she's got to hurry. And now she's in a rundown and tagged out. So take off with a single.
For the Cardinals.
And then thrown out trying to go to second base. That was a great recovery by Stevie Wilmus in left field, by the way. That'll be it for Atlantic. They did score a run in the frame on 2 hits. We're through 4 Atlantic with a 6-1 lead, 6 runs on 6 hits. The Cardinals 1 run on 5. Back in a minute.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
Softball on KS 95.7 FM.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We're at the top of the 5th. Trojans up 6-1 with Maya Harris at the plate. And then Grace Fiddler. Here's the pitch coming. There's a slap and a swing and a miss by Harris. It's going to be Kane who will bat for Fiddler. Kane took over in the circle for the Cardinals. At the top of the order for Clarinda here at the top of the 5th. Atlantic 6 runs on 8 hits is what I have them. Here's the pitch, high for a ball. McLaren has not walked a batter, only 8 walks this season, which is phenomenal. Just 2 strikeouts here in the ball game. Cardinals with 1 run and 5 hits. Atlantic 6 runs. They lead 6-1 here in the top of the 5th. Harris the batter. Kane on deck. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2 of the count to Maya Harris. Maya lined out to Schroeder at third, her first time up. That was in the 3rd inning, just her 2nd plate appearance for the Cardinals here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McLaren looks in. The sign is given. She'll wing it in, swing, and a foul straight back. Harris stays alive, a left-handed slap hitter for the Cardinals. The DH batting for Wake, the catcher, Riley Wake. 1-2 the count here in the top of the 5th. Babe McLaren gets the sign, she'll step up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maya Harris, here's the pitch, swung on and fouled straight back against the netting. Count remains 1-2 Atlantic. 15-0 in the conference. Just a sensational year with this game and the doubleheader against Red Oak on Thursday, and that should wrap up the conference schedule for the Trojans. 1-2. That's high and away. 2-2 the count to Maya Harris. You see a few slap hitters in this league, not a lot. You'll see a lot more in the 4A, 5A. 5A especially, you've seen several games of my wife's niece who played for Southeast Polk. Here's the 2-2. There's a ground ball right where it came from. Knocked down by McLaren. She has trouble with it. And Harris will reach an error.
First base.
1 out and nobody down for the Cardinals here at the top of the 5th inning. And Mackenzie Kane will stand in for Clarinda. Atlantic up 6-1 here in the Cardinals side of the 5th inning. So Kane getting her first at bat here in the ball game. Batting for Grace Fiddler. 1 out and nobody down for Clarinda. Cardinals did play one last inning. It pitches a ball high. The count is 1-0 to Kane. Hadley Miller is on deck for the Cardinals here in the 5th. Bade McLaren the sign. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner. Great shot by McLaren. Bade 2 strikeouts, no walks. Allowed 1 run and 5 hits. Atlantic 1 error here in the ball game. Cardinals with 2. Fiddler being batted for by Kane. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. There's a ground ball in the hole and left. That's a base hit. And the Cardinals have runners at first and second.
Base hit.
So Kane with a single to left.
Kane.
Now 2 on.
First and second.
Nobody down for the Cardinals.
Bird, the freshman. They're back to the top of the order for Clarinda.
So it's going to be Hadley Miller will stand in.
16, Hadley Miller.
Miller at the plate, the leadoff hitter. She struck out twice here in the ball game, and Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman makes his way to the circle. Atlantic up 6-1, but the Cardinals making some noise. 2 on and nobody down here at the top of the 5th. We're going to have a pitching change. Brent Lamp will step in. We're back in a minute.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
At Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic, you'll find the latest apparel and promotional products in the newest colors and designs. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports team, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where did you get that?" Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop in today.
Welcome back to Atlantic. Brent Lamp has wrapped up her warm-ups. Lamp 14-4 in the year.
Number 16.
She has just 1 save as she's working for her 2nd save of the season, but she's logged the most innings for Atlantic, 89 so far. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball to short. Knocked down by Kirchhoff. Throws a second for 1. Over to first, not in time. Runners at the corners now for the Cardinals. But the Trojans able to force out Kane at second on a 6-4. Maya Harris the third. Miller the first on a fielder's choice. And now Stevie Wilmus will stand in. A couple of ground outs for Wilmus tonight. 2 on, 1 out. 6-1 Atlantic. We're the top of the 5th. Cardinals threatening with Wilmus at the plates. And then Riley Maher, the freshman. Wilmus a right-handed hitter for the Cardinals. We'll see if Coach Knight sends Miller to second base. That pitch is out of the zone for a ball. The count is 1-0. Atlantic up 6-1. We're the top of the 5th. The Cardinals side. Harris waits on an error. She's at third. Fiddler with a single, or Kane with a single. And Miller the fielder's choice as they throw out Kane trying to get to second. 1-0 the count to Wilmus. We're in the fifth. Here's the pitch. Swatted foul to Stevie Wilmus. Count 1-1. Bryn Lamb comes in with 53 strikeouts on the season, a 2.35 ERA. That's second best in the league, right behind Peyton McLaren at 1.87. Here's a 1-1 pitch. That's a strike. Throw to second base, so they didn't get her. Nobody went home. Harris was standing at third. And a steal by Miller. Nice throw by Wiederstein. First base is open here. We're at the top of the fifth. Harris at third. Miller at second. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Wilmus. Atlantic up 6-1 on the Seed Pros scoreboard. Here we go. Lamp wheels, deals. That pitch is inside. Now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Wilmus. Riley Maher, the freshman on deck. She's 2 for 2, has a double and a single and a run scored for the Cardinals. Clarinda has a chance here with 2 on and 1 out. Here's the pitch on the way. Boy, that just missed. Now 3-2 the count. Just outside for Lamp. Lamp with 53 strikeouts. Walked 17 so far and 6 hit 6 batters on the year. 3-2 the count to Wilmus. Runners at second and third. Here's the pitch and ball 4.
Bases unloaded for the Cardinals.
18th walk of the year for Lamp. Now the base is loaded for Clarinda.
Next batter's the center fielder, Riley Maher.
Harris at third. Miller at second. Wilmus at first. Maher the batter. She's 2 for 2 with the bases loaded. Atlantic up 6-1. The Cardinals threatening here in the top of the 5th inning. Runners in every bag for Clarinda. Here's Maher, the freshman. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to first. Knocked down by Satoff. She'll step on the bag for 1. And a run scores. So Harris scores from third on the ground ball.
Harris.
Maher grounds out to Satoff at first.
Correction, tagged out.
Now there's 2 down. Now check that. Not sure here what the call is. It's 6-2.
Officials will overturn the call. Maher safe on first.
So Maher is safe on first. Not sure if there's interference or what the situation was. So there's just 1 out. They're going to say Maher was safe at first base. Bases are still loaded. 6-2 Atlantic. Price the batter, right-handed hitter. Runners every bag. Maher at first. Miller at third. Wilmus at second. The pitch inside for a ball. 1-0 the count.
Number 31.
Cardinals are in this. They've got the bases loaded, 1 out. They're down 6-2. Price is the hitter. She's 1 for 2. She singled her last time up in that 1-run 4th. Lamp brings it. That's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Woolsey on deck. She has an RBI single back in the 4th inning. She's 1 for 2. So Price, a right-handed hitter, gets the righty. Lamp. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit to right field. London Kirchhoff coming to her left. She's going to make the catch. 2 down, the tag from third. The throw into the infield. And safe is the tag runners. So London Kirchhoff with the catch in right field. Retires Price.
Next batter is number 41, Janessa Woolsey.
Janessa Woolsey will stand in. Miller scores from third. Now it's a 6-3 ball game. Cardinals have played 2 runs in the frame. They have runners at second and third. Maher at second. Wilmus at third. Woolsey at the plate. She's a dangerous hitter. Here's the pitch to Woolsey. She lines one of the netting for a foul. The count is 0-1. 6-3 Trojans. Runners at second and third for the Cardinals with 2 down here at the top of the 5th inning. And Janessa Woolsey, the junior, is at the plate for the Cardinals. Big out here for Atlantic. Well, for both teams. Here's the pitch coming. There's a liner foul over the first base dugout. Now the count 0-2 to Woolsey. And a whirl on deck if Woolsey keeps this rally alive here at the top of the fifth inning. Lamp in the circle, looks in to get the sign. Runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. Chopper right back up the middle, base hit. That may score two. Here's one. Here's another coming across. And now it's a 6-5 game. Throw to second, not in time.
2-run RBI for Woolsey.
So Woolsey gets a single and 2 RBI. And now Atlantic's lead is trimmed to 1. 6-5.
Number 6, Hannah Laurel.
Cardinals have plated 4 runs here in the inning. And Woolsey hits second base with a 2 RBI single. Here's a pitch on the way to Whirl, fouled off. Whirl over 2. Couple of pop-ups to second and third. And the Cardinals have batted their way back into the game. Down 1 run here, 6-5 with the top of the fifth. Runner at second is Woolsey. Whirl the batter. Miller, Wilmots, Maher, Harris all scoring. Here's the pitch. Chopper in the hole towards left. Snagged by Schroeder. Fires to first for the 5-3. And the Cardinals send 8 to the plate.
Close the lead, 6-5.
They scored 4 runs on a 2 RBI double by Woolsey. The fielder's choice, a walk, another single by Kane, and we've got a game. We go to the bottom half of the fifth. Atlantic holding on to a 6-5 lead. Back in a minute.
SWITA is your public transit provider in Southwest Iowa. Gas prices got you down? Need a ride to work or the grocery store? There's public transportation for everyone in Southwest Iowa. SWITA offers taxi service in Atlantic, Glenwood, Harlan, Missouri Valley, Red Oak, and Shenandoah. Call 1-800-842-8065 or visit swita.com to schedule your ride.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Now down by a run. Atlantic up 6-5 as Clarinda scored 4 runs at the top of this frame. Peyton McLaren will check that. We'll see who the hitter for the Trojans is here. Bottom half of the fifth. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and popped up center field. Maher running in and makes a basket catch for the out on McLaren.
That's Maher on the catch.
So Maher with the play. She had to come a long ways. And makes the basket catch. 1 out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fifth. And Zoe Kirkhoff will step in. Zoe is 2 for 2 with 2 RBI, a single and a double. A right-handed batter. Atlantic up 6-5 with the bottom half of the fifth inning. Mackenzie Kane in the circle for the Cardinals. Here's the pitch. Low and away. The count is 1-0 to Kirkhoff for Atlantic. The senior shortstop's had another fine game defensively, and she's doing it at the plate as well. 2 for 2. Single, a double, and 2 RBI. Here's the 1-0 by Kane on the way. That's a strike as Kirkhoff pays at the plate. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Trojans up 6-5. On deck is Claire Schroeder for Atlantic. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, Tapper, foul down the third baseline. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kirkhoff, hitting .344 before the contest. And Zoe having herself a night tonight at the plate. 13 doubles for Zoe Kirkhoff on the year. And she has 18 RBI now. She had 16 coming in. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, swatted foul. Still 1-2 the count to Zoe here in the bottom half of the fifth. Kirchhoff had an RBI single in the first. Atlantic scored 3 runs in the first to take the lead. They scored 2 more in the third. They led 5-0 and 6-1 after 4. But the Cardinals played 4 runs at the top of this frame to make it a 6-5 game. The pitch, foul ball left side again. Still 1-2. Stevie Wilmison left, Riley Maher in center, Matty Cole in right, Mackenzie Kane, the junior thrower in the circle, Riley Wake, the catcher. Whirl at first, Miller at second, Price at short, Woolsey at third. The 1-2, swung on, hit high, deep left, back, and it is gone! A home run for Zoe Kirchhoff. That is a big one right there for the Trojans. They needed that insurance run. Zoe Kirchhoff with a home run, her second of the year. That ball had a lot of air underneath it. I thought it might be playable, but it just kept drifting and goes over the left field fence. A solo shot by Zoe Kirchhoff. And now Atlantic with a 7-5 lead here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Zoe Kirchhoff with her 19th RBI of the season. She had 2 RBI ahead of that. And now comes up for the 3rd RBI of the game. Nobody on, 1 out for Atlantic and a 7-5 lead. Here's the pitch. On the way to Schroeder, swung on, hit deep to right. Back goes Cole, makes the catch of the morning track.
High to the deep right side, will catch Schroeder.
Trojans with some long balls. McLaren flew out to center. A basket catch by Maher. Kirchhoff goes yard, and Schroeder flies to right. Nobody on, 2 down for Atlantic and 1 in. They lead 7-5 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kensley Johnson is 1 for 2, will step in, and Coach Brad Knight will walk to the circle again here, and we'll take a timeout. We're back in 30 seconds.
Hey there, this is Tanner from your Atlantic Hy-Vee, and I've got some exciting news to share. Thanks to your feedback, we're currently rated the friendliest Hy-Vee in the entire company. That's a huge honor, and on behalf of the whole team, thank you to everyone who's taken time to share their thoughts. Did you know you can leave feedback too? Just check the link on the bottom of your Hy-Vee receipt or in your email after a purchase. Whether it's a compliment or constructive criticism, I love reading our surveys and making sure we're always improving. And as always, thank you for shopping your Atlantic Hy-Vee.
Nobody on. 2 down for Atlantic and 1 in. They lead 7-5 on Kirchhoff's home run. That pitch is outside for a ball. Johnson, the batter for Atlantic, and then Olivia Knuth in the top of the order for the Trojans. Johnson singled and drove in a runner last time up in the 3rd inning. And the 1-0 pitch is on the way. Here it is. Gets away for a ball. 2-0 the count to Kensley Johnson, just an 8th grader. She, as well as London Johnson, really have a bright future. Kensley hitting .297 and coming in. She has started all 28 games like London Kirchhoff. She has 20 hits on the year. A couple of doubles. 2-0 is in there for a ball. The count is 3-0. 3-0 to Johnson. She'll be taken here all the way. Knuth on deck for the Trojans here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trenches up 7-5. The Seed Pros scoreboard. Here's the sign from Wake. The 3-0 pitch. That's a strike. Now the count is 3-1. 3 balls and a strike. To Kensley Johnson. Here's the pitch by Kane. Swung on, ripped to left center field. Johnson will round first, and she will hold up with a single to keep the inning alive for Atlantic. And Johnson now 2 for 3. A 2-out single for Kensley Johnson, and Olivia Knuth will step in. Atlantic up 7-5 as Coach Hinsman talks the home plate umpire to make a change. We're going to have a new runner for Atlantic. Johnson will be run for. with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th.
It's going to be number 12, Abby Anderson.
Addie Anderson will be the runner for Kinsley Johnson at first base. Olivia Knuth will step in for Atlantic. Knuth struck out and a ground out for the Trojans. Olivia batting .333 coming in the game here. On base percentage of .455 and a slugging percentage of .361. A right-handed batter, Olivia has appeared at the plate 38 times. So Dylan Ball is going to bat. So Dylan Ball will bat for Knuth here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The 9th hitter of the lineup. Here's the pitch to Ball. Gets low and in. Anderson, the runner at first. The pinch runner. And then you've got a pinch hitter, Dylan Ball, at the plate for the Trojans. Dylan Ball's 57th plate appearance for Atlantic. And he 196 of the year. Atlantic up 7-5 on Zoe Kirchhoff's solo home run. Here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The pitch. Swung on a rip to short. Knocked down by Price. Throws to first. And got her. Well, that'll be it for the Trojans. 1 run on 2 hits. 1 left. Through 5. Atlantic 7. Clarinda 5. We're back in a minute.
Whoa, is that bacon?
Nope, that's things heating up at Atlantic and Audubon Egg and Auto, your locally owned CarQuest stores.
Ooh, tell me the juicy stuff, Amy Jo.
The temps are rising and we're ready. Big rig brakes, pickup brakes, car brakes. If it stops, we got the parts.
That's not juicy, that's responsible.
Oh, it gets juicier. Lawnmower parts? Yup. And we're hydraulic hose specialists.
Uh-oh, busted hose spraying everywhere?
Not for long. We can make a replacement for almost anything.
Now that's juicy.
Atlantic and Audubon Egg and Auto, keeping you rolling, mowing, flowing all summer long.
Dang it. Did you say bacon?
Get ready for a fresh start at Greg Young Atlantic. Our Greg Young Fresh Start program helps you hit the road with confidence, overcome credit challenges with personalized financing, and a wide selection of great vehicles. Visit us today to find your brand new Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, or check out our huge pre-owned selection at GregYoungAtlantic.com and GregYoungCDJRAtlantic.com. And to apply. Don't miss out on this incredible offer. Here at Greg Young, we go the extra mile for you.
Welcome back to Atlantic as we go to the top of the 6th inning. And the Trojans up 7-5 as the Cardinals rallied in the top of the 5th with 4 runs to make it a 6-5 game. But Zoe Kirchhoff had that solo shot. Here's the pitch on the way to Maddie Cole leading off for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. Cole singled back in the 2nd to ground out in the 4th. Lamp pitching in relief for the Trojans. 7-5, the Atlantic with a 2-run lead here in the top of the 6th. Cole, the 7th hitter, then Maya Harris and Mackenzie Kane. There's a ground ball to show to slow roller. Kirchhoff fires, gets the out. Wow. Kirchhoff had to hustle to get to that slow roller right in front of the second base. Able to scoop it up and get the 6-3 play. 1 out for the Cardinals here on the top of the 6th. Here comes Maya Harris. The junior line out to Schroeder at 3rd. Reached an error in the 5th. She scored one of those 4 runs for the Cardinals, that 4-run 5th inning. Atlantic up 7-5. We're on the Cardinals side of the 6th. Harris at the plate. Here's the pitch coming. That's a strike. Count is 0-1 to Maya Harris with Grace Fiddler's relief pitcher Mackenzie Kane on deck. Nobody on, 1 out for the Cardinals. Count is 0-1 to Harris. Bren Lamp with 1 save this season, trying to get number 2 for the Trojans. Here's the 0-1. Slapper right back where it came from. Lamp's got to hurry. Here's the throw. Not in time. Harris with an infield hit. That was as good as a bunt, and Lamp had to hustle to scoop it up, but the Cardinals have 1 on and 1 out here in the top of the 6th. With Kane at the plate, she singled her last time up. 1 on, 1 out for the Cardinals. Kane the batter, then back to the top of the order. 7-5, Trojans on top, each team with 8 hits in the game. Here's the pitch to Kane. High for a ball. Count 1-0. Maya Harris, the runner at first. She's 1 for 3. Kane 1 for 1. Right-handed hitter. Top of the 6th inning. Sun starting to rest in the west. There's the pitch low and in. And Lamp falls behind 2-0. Lamp was 17 walks, I believe, on the season. Might have to fact check me on that one. Boy, she's had quite a year, though. She's 14-4 coming in. Yep, 17 walks for Lamp on the year. She had her number 18 in the 5th inning. That pitch is outside for ball, 2-0, so 18 walks for Lamp this year. 53 strikeouts before tonight. 1 on, 1 out for the Cardinals. Atlantic up 7-5. Here's the pitch. That's a strike. Now the count is 3 balls and a strike to Kane, the 9th hitter in the lineup. In the top of the order with Miller, who struck out twice and reached a fielder's choice and scored a run that 5th inning. 3 balls and 1 strike with Harris the runner at first for the Cardinals. Here's the pitch. Swung on, tap, foul down the right side. That'll push the count to 3-2 to Kane, the right-handed hitter for the Cardinals. Harris the runner at first. 1 out. Here's Lamp. The pitch coming. Swatted down the third base line. Scooped up by Schrader. Schroeder fires the first and gets the out. Schroeder to Satoff. Harris goes to second. Now there's 2 down. Here in the top of the 6th inning. Claire Schroeder, the sure-headed third baseman. Boy, Atlantic's left so well. The whole infield is solid with Satoff at first and Johnson at second. Kirchhoff and Schroeder outstanding at short and third for Atlantic. Here's Miller. Leadoff batter for the Cardinals from the top of the 6th. Runner at second and 2 down. Atlantic up 7-5. Lamp will go to work. Here's the pitch on the way. Inside for a ball. Miller struck out a pair of times at Peyton McLaren, then reached the fielder's choice in the 5th. The right-handed hitter with Stevie Wilmos on deck for Clarinda here at the top of the 6th. Count 1-0 to Miller. Harris, second base on the ground ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch coming. That's inside for a ball. Now 2-0. Cole ground out to Harris with a single. Kane with a ground ball to third. Miller trying to keep it going for the Cardinals here in the top of the 6th. Lamp with the sign. Here's the 2-0. Swung on. Popped up. Could be trouble. Here's the throw to first. In time. Wiederseen able to get the ball. It died right between the circle and home plate. And Lila with that gun for an arm. Able to throw out Miller, the leadoff hitter, in the lineup on a 2-3 play. And the Trojans come away unscathed. No runs, 1 hit for the Cardinals. We go the bottom half of the 6th. Atlantic 7, going to 5.
Midwest boneless pork loin chops, 3 for $5. Frito-Lay Tostitos.
When you're on the go, it's all about convenience. At fantastic food, beverages, plus BP superior fuels, and you have Olson's BP in Atlantic. From sunup to sundown, we're the keep-you-going store. From our loaded breakfast burritos and Bunker Dunker donuts to our delicious Champs chicken and pizza to go, we have the food you crave. Don't forget the cold beer in the beer cave. Stop in and fill her up. There's always something you need at Olson's BP, the keep-you-going store, 2nd and Locust in Atlantic.
At Oak Point Wealth Management, we're embracing new changes to better serve you. As an independent wealth manager, I'm excited to partner with LPL Financial, bringing you comprehensive tools and resources backed by personalized service and dynamic technology. My focus remains on helping you achieve your financial goals with integrity and care. Visit oakpointwealth.com or call me, Erin Friend, at 712-207-3521 to learn more.
Visit oakpointwealth.com. Call 712-207-3521 to learn more about how Oak Point Wealth Management can help you pursue your financial goals.
We go the bottom half of the 6th. Atlantic with a 7-5 lead. The leadoff batter, Lila Wiedersteen, will bat for the Trojans. Lila 1 for 2. She was hit by a pitch in the first inning. She scored twice. Had a single back in the 4th. Here's the pitch to Wiedersteen, high and away for a ball. Kane in the circle for the Cardinals. We're in the bottom half of the 6th. Both teams with 8 hits. Atlantic 7 runs, 8 hits. Cardinals 5 runs, 8 hits. We're at 2 errors. Atlantic 1 error in the ball game. Kane the sign from Wake. Here's the pitch to Wiederstein. That gets away, low and away. Now the count is 2-1. Kane knows what Wiederstein can do. She's been very careful against Lila Wiederstein. Leads the league in home runs with 7. One of the leaders with 7 home runs on the year. Hitting .484 coming in. 2-0 the count, and the pitch is on the way. Low for a ball, 3-0. Wiederstein, Schrader, Kirchhoff will bat for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th. Zoe Kirchhoff had that big insurance run in the 5th inning, that solo shot for the Trojans. 3-0 the count to Wiederstein. Leading off the bottom half of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch. High ball 4. 4 pitches out of the zone. Wiederstein impatient to plate. Her second free base of the ball game. She was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, ground out, and then single to the 4th. She scored 2 runs, and now she's at first to be in the walk, and she's a dangerous base runner for Atlantic. Here's Schrader hitting .324. 0 for 2 with a beautiful sac bunt to back of the 1st. Kane goes to work. Here's the pitch. A chopper to short. Scooped up by Price. Fires to first. It's close, but they got her. 6-3, Wiederstein to second.
Thrown out at first base. Wiederstein saved.
Now it's Kirchhoff, London Kirchhoff, who had a double and scored in the 3rd inning. London 1 for 3, her 4th plate appearance. Runner at second base with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th. Atlantic with a 7-5 lead. Kirchhoff, a right-handed hitter. Then Satoff is on deck for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Back to work is Kane. The sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and away for a ball. Wiederstein with a big lead there at second. She'll go back. Jill Satoff, 1 for 2 with a walk, is on deck. Satoff had the 3 hits last night against St. Albert. She's swinging a hot bat for the Trojans. Another one of those Atlantic players that's started and played in every game this season. That pitch is low, and Wiederstein goes to third. He's 60 feet away for Atlantic here in the bottom half of the 6th. 2 balls and no strikes to London Kirchhoff. Hitting just shy of 400 coming in tonight, hitting .393. Right-handed hitter for Atlantic. Wiederstein at third with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th. Kane will get the sign from Wake. Wiederstein stands on third. Here's the pitch by Mackenzie Kane. The 2-0 coming in. That's low. Nice stop by Wake. Now the count goes to 3-0 to London Kirchhoff. Wiederstein walked, stole second, went to third on the wild pitch. He's at third base with a 3-0 count to London Kirchhoff. Kane set in the circle. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, Tapper to third. Wiederstein will score. Throw to first in time. Atlantic now leads 8-5 on the ground ball by London Kirchhoff.
First base. Wiederstein will score.
Now there's 2 out. Kirchhoff gets an RBI ground ball. Here comes Jillian Satoff. Bases are empty with 2 down here in the bottom half of the 6th, but the Trojans get another insurance run. They lead 8-5. Atlantic 3 outs away from staying undefeated in the Hawkeye 10 Conference, with the Cardinals coming to bat at the top of the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. Ground ball foul. Now the third baseline just foul. That would have been extras for Satoff. McLaren is on deck for Atlantic.
Bryn Lamp, sir. Bryn Lamp.
So Satoff batting for the Trojans. Satoff has appeared all 28. She has 83 appearances before tonight. This will be her 87th plate appearance on the season. The count is 0-1. Here's the pitch by Kane. That's in the dirt for a ball. The count is even at 1-1. Satoff with 30 hits. Thank you very much, Bryce. Bryn Lamp will bat next, thanks to Bryce Smith. 1 ball and 1 strike to Satoff. Here's the pitch. There's a line drive. Base hit for Jillian, her second hit of the night. Bryn Lamp will bat next for the Trojans. Satoff keeps the inning alive. She tags that to left field. So Lamp will stand in for Paige McLaren. Lamp the batter. 1 on and 2 down for Atlantic and 1 in. It's 8-5 Trojans. They've scored in all I like that, though, Bryce. Really helped. Thank you, man. 8-5 Atlantic with 1 on and 2 down. So Lamp, the hitter, talking to Coach Hinsman down the third base line. Trojans scored in every inning but the second. They went 3 up and 3 down in that frame. 3 runs in the first, 2 in the third, and they played a run in the fourth, a run in the fifth, and 1 so far in this 6th inning. Cardinals had that big 4-run fifth to get back in at 6-5, but Kirkhoff with a solo shot made it 7-5. And now that RBI ground ball by London Kirkhoff scores Wiederstein. The pitch to Lamp is low and in. There goes Satoff to second base.
Satoff on the steal.
So Satoff with a stolen bag. Count 1-0 to Bryn Lamp, who is not batted a lot here for the Trojans this season. In fact, I talked to her grandpa here before the ball game, and he mentioned that.
Runner in for the Trojans is number 13.
This would be Bryn Lamp. Let's see, that would be her 7th appearance at the plate is all for Lamp. Getting a chance. You know, Coach Hinsman talking to the home plate umpire with Satoff at second base. Atlantic with an 8-5 lead. 8 runs and 9 hits, 1 error. Cardinals 5 runs and 8 hits, 2 errors. And play is really slowed down here as Satoff, the runner at second, Brent Lamp at the plate for the Trojans. We're in the bottom half of the 6th. Atlantic up by 3 runs, trying to go to 16-0 in the conference. So Lamp will stand in. 1 ball and no strikes to the junior pitcher. Satoff at second base for the Trojans. Kane in the circle for the Cardinals. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Lamp. Swung on. Pop fly to left. That could drop in. It does for a base hit. Rounding third, Satoff. Here's the throw. Not in time. Lamp gets an RBI. 9-5 Trojans. How about that? Bryn Lamp with a single and RBI. She'll end up at second base, and Jill Satoff with that single stole second and now scores on Lamp's little bloop single to left. We're going to have a runner for Lamp. So Lamp, what a job. This is her 7th plate appearance of the year. She had 1 hit. Now she has 2 hits on the year and a big hit at that. And we've got a pitching change.
Cardinals change the pitcher.
So as we change the pitcher, be the 3rd pitcher for the Cardinals tonight. We're in the bottom half of the 6th. Atlantic with a 9-5 lead with 1 on and 2 down. We're back in a minute.
To better serve you. As an independent wealth manager,
First Winnie Bank is the longest standing locally owned bank in Atlantic, and as such, we take pride in how we serve our community. For generations, we have been involved with our customers and their families by getting involved in community events and by supporting technology and teaching financial literacy in our schools. You'll also see our support of athletics on the scoreboards at home events. It's this involvement that allows us to know our customers and their families for generations. First Winnie Bank, the only bank you'll ever need. Member FDIC.
Have you ever heard the saying, people spend their life building wealth and neglecting their health, only to wish they could trade their wealth for better health at the end? This is Dr. Fritz Beyer, and it has now been over 30 years since my first chiropractic adjustment. I still get asked, do you get adjusted? Absolutely. I try to get adjusted at least once a month. I'm 47 now and still try to stay as active as ever. While I do get a few more aches and pains than when I was younger, it feels great to be able to step on the mat and help kids learning to wrestle. Chiropractic has helped me feel young enough to do it. If staying active is part of your future plans, call 254-BODY to get your body back to the basics.
Ball game for Clarinda. Atlantic now up 9-5. They played at 2 in this frame. Their lead was squeezed to 6-5, and that was after 5 innings, and they've been able to add some insurance runs. Gray in the circle now for the Cardinals. And the pitch. Strike called, outside corner, nice pitch. Batter for Atlantic, Zoe Kirkhoff. What a night Zoe's had. Zoe Kirkhoff batting in that 6th spot. 3 for 3, a single, a double, and a home run. She has 3 RBI, 3 of the 9. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ripped in the base hit in left field. She's 4 for 4. Rounding third and heading home for the Trojans in Atlantic up 10-5. What a night for Zoe Kirkhoff. 4 for 4, 2 singles, a double, and a home run, 4 RBI. And the batter is Claire Schroeder with 1 on and 2 down. Zoe Kirchhoff, single, double, homer, and a single. 4 RBI for the senior shortstop. Here's the pitch on the way. That's a strike, inside corner. Zoe Kirchhoff goes to second base on that drop pitch. Schroeder singled in the first inning, walked in the third, and flew to right in the fifth. Right-handed hitter for Atlantic. Schroeder entered the contest hitting .333, the seventh hitter in the lineup. Atlantic up 10-5. We're in the bottom half of the sixth. Audrey Gray in the circle. The righty brings the pitch, swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. That one right down Broadway, and a big cut by Schroeder. She'll wind her up again with Zoe Kirchhoff at second base for Atlantic. Here in the bottom half of the sixth. Trojans try to go to 16-0 in the conference. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch to Schroeder. Changeup is high. Ball 1-2. Satoff scoring. Lamps, courtesy runner scoring. Riederstein scored. She led off with a walk, and she scored. RBI from a Lamp and Kirchhoff so far. Schroeder at the plate. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Audrey Gray gets the strikeout, but Atlantic makes some more noise. They scored 3 runs in the frame on 1, 2, 3 hits. Atlantic with a 10-5 lead. Back in 60 seconds.
At Seed Pros, our mission is to be your business partner every day of every season.
Pioneer Hybrid International was founded in Iowa back in 1926 and is still American today. Not many other seed providers can make that claim.
We partner with you to continually push the limits by combining elite seed genetics, local infield knowledge, along with customer service second to none.
We are with you from the word go. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkla, Nick Knutson, or John Becker to partner with a team that puts your business needs first.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Once you're back at the shop, we talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
We go to the top of the 7th. Atlantic 3 outs away from staying unblemished in the conference. Lamp in the circle in relief of Peyton McLaren. Fires a pitch high and in. Count is 1-0 to Wilmus. Leading off for the Cardinals here in the top of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Wilmus taps one to third. Charging Schroeder, fair territory, files the first and gets the out by check that. Whoa, was that close? Thought they had her, but the umpire was right there. And Willis gets an infield single. It was a slow roller. Schroeder had to charge. He had a nice throw. Everything was there, including Wilma's speed. So Wilma gets her first hit of the night. And the Cardinals have their leadoff hitter aboard here at the top of the 7th. Atlantic up 10-5. And Maher, the freshman, will stand in. She has a double and a single here in the ballgame. Here's the pitch. That's inside for a ball. Close play at first base. I thought Schroeder might have had her, but not the case. Umpire was right there on it, and good wheels by Wilmus down the line for an infield single. 1 on and nobody down for the Cardinals. Atlantic up 10-5. Here's the pitch. High chopper to second. Johnson with the field to Zoe Kirchhoff. She looked at Satoff to throw. So 4 out and a 4-6. Nice job by Johnson. She had got the high hop and lobbed it over to Kirchhoff. The shortstop stepped to the bag for the force. Maher at first, the fielder's choice. 1 on and 1 out for the Cardinals. Atlantic 2 outs away. Price the batter. 1 for 3. Singled back in the 4th inning. Atlantic 10 runs on 11 hits. Here's the pitch. Low for a ball. Cardinals 5 runs on 9. Both defenses have played well. Cardinals 2 errors. Atlantic 1. Maher, the runner at first base. Annika Price, the batter. Popped up, singled, and flew out to right. Here's the pitch on the way. That's a strike. Good pitch by Lamp. 1-1 the count to Price with Woolsey on deck. Boy, Woolsey's had a good night. She's 2 for 3 with 3 RBI. 1 out here for the Cardinals in the top of the 7th. Atlantic up 10-5. Lamp getting set at the circle. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. The count goes to 1-2 to Price. Nice pitch by Lamp. Right there at the knees. Annika Price will stand back in the senior. Right-handed hitter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maher at first. 1-2. Ground ball towards the hole and left. Stab by Kirk gets through Kirchhoff and out to left for a base hit.
That's a base
So Price with her second hit for the Cardinals.
Her teammates on second.
Maher goes to second. Price at first with a single. Here comes Woolsey. Woolsey with 2 singles and 3 RBI. She's 2 for 3 here in the evening. She ground out to short of the second, then singled in a run in the 4th and drove in 2 runs in the 5th. 2-1, 1 out for Clarinda. Atlantic up 10-5 with the top of the 7th. Cardinals trying to rally here in the late innings. Lamp with the sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, hit to second base. Johnson with 1 hopper. Scoops it up, fires to first for the out. Now Atlantic 1 out away.
Thrown out at first base.
Runners advance to second and third. Maher at third, Price at second. And a whirl the batter, 0 for 3. Popped up to second base, ground out to third, and ground out to third again in the 5th inning. Atlantic up 10-5, 1 out away from victory here on their home field as Whirl will stand in. A rod-headed batter, here's the pitch. Tapper foul down the first base line. So Whirl keep it alive. Maddie Cool is on deck for the Cardinals. Atlantic took a 3-0 lead in the bottom half of the first. They added 2 more in the third. They led 5-0. Cardinals played at 1 at the top of the 4th. Atlantic answered with 1 run at the bottom of the 4th. And the Trojans led 6-1. But the Cardinals came back in the 5th with 4 runs. Tapper to third. This could be the game. Schroeder gobbles it up. Fires to first for the out. And that'll be it. The Trojans stay unblemished to the Hawkeye 10 with a 10-5 win over the Clarinda Cardinals tonight. And they'll have their final 2 conference games on Thursday. And Red Oak, our next broadcast will be coming up on Friday with Dowling Catholic, a non-conference game coming to town. Post-game show is coming up next, and we're back right after these.
At 2nd Street Auto, it's our mission to get you back on the road fast. And it all starts with free local towing. Want your back at the shop? We talk you through your car repair with a free and fair estimate. We do everything in-house so you know who's working on your car. Our Hercules tires come with free road hazard repair, free rotation for the life of the tires, and a free alignment check. And nobody can beat our transmission rebuild and repair experts. Brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, preventative maintenance, and service work make 2nd Street your first stop.
At Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic, you'll find the latest apparel and promotional products in the newest colors and designs. Head to Outfitters and work with the design pros to make your customized tees, team apparel, and personalized swag for your business a reality. Whether it's fan apparel for your high school or youth sports team, your business, or you just want to make something your own, you'll have everyone saying, "Where did you get that?" Outfitters will also add your group store online to make ordering a breeze. Get personalized at Outfitters Plus Outlet Store in Atlantic. Stop in today.
Operation helping you grow profitable success season after season.
My daddy stove chemical, soybeans, and corn.
That's right, Nora. From corn to soybeans to chemicals, we've got trusted Pioneer genetics and local knowledge to maximize profits.
And I get to ride in the tractor.
The Seed Pros, where the next generation is already in the field. Contact Mark Van Tiger, Gary Dinkler, Nick Knutson, or John Becker. We are with you from the word go.
As busy as we all seem to be, no one has time for a breakdown. So here's the key. Pay attention to the early signs of transmission issues. If you notice problems, call 2nd Street Auto. Ignoring these symptoms can only lead to very costly repairs. Check engine light on, knocking, late to shift, stall, or slip. Save yourself the headache and money and get into 2nd Street Auto today. If you run into problems and can't get on the road, 2nd Street Auto is not going to let you down. If you're in the KSOM KS95 listing area, your tow is free. 2nd Street Auto in Atlantic, getting you back on the road and keeping you there.
Welcome back to Atlantic. We'll hear from Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman and Zoe Kirchhoff, who had quite a night at the plate. She went 4 for 4 with 2 singles, a double, a home run. She had 4 RBI for the Trojans. Atlantic wins 10-5. They stay unblemished in the Hawkeye 10 Conference here in 2026 with 2 to go on Thursday night at Red Oak. Trojans played it 3 runs in the first. They came back with another 2 in the third. They led 5-0, but Clarinda, boy, give them credit. They made it a 5-1 game with a run in the 4th inning, but then they played it 4 more in the 5th. It was 6-5 Trojans, but Atlantic able to answer with Zoe Kirchhoff's home run in the 5th inning. Made it 7-5. Atlantic played it 3 more in the bottom half of the 6th to close it out 10-5 here this evening. We're going to hear from Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman coming up in a moment, and Zoe Kirchhoff will join us as well here on the post-game show here on KS 95.7 FM. We'll take a 30-second timeout, and we're back right after this.
Cass Health in Atlantic, Iowa is a nationally recognized hospital, and we are proud of the awards and all of our recent accomplishments. But do you know what drives us to be the very best? You. We're passionate about helping our patients heal and feel their very best at any age and any stage of life. Cass Health, neighbors caring for neighbors.
For expert weight management care. Cass Health's dedicated team is right here in your community, providing the guidance, encouragement, and medical expertise to help you live healthier.
I had been putting off my surgery for a long time. Then I discovered Cass Health. The care I received was incredible. The team was so compassionate and the facility was top-notch. They made what felt like a huge burden so manageable. I can't thank them enough.
When you make the decision to take care of yourself, call Dr. Rizek and the weight management team at Cass Health.
They truly are neighbors caring for neighbors.
Welcome back to post-game show here on KS 95.7 FM. We're joined by Atlantic head coach Terry Hensman. 10-5 win. You jump out 5-0 and give the Cardinals credit. They bounce back and trailed by a run 6-5, but then your team able to get insurance runs and get the victory. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, first off, Tom, I think we talked about it in the Saturday coaches show that we weren't going to see the same Clarinda team that we beat up on down there, that they cleaned things up, moved some people around, and took care of most of the errors that they had. I know they had a few tonight, but they were well-earned errors. So we were aware of that. We knew that Coach Knight was going to have them far more prepared than what they were before. I guess the thing on our end of it that I was most pleased with was the fact that we didn't panic. You know, they come back, 5-4 there late in the game, and you know, as far as the dugout was concerned, it was, hey, you know, person by person, we're probably a better team, and so we just have to execute the things that we know how to do. And I thought that the patience at the plate and the selection of pitches, as you could see, a lot more line drives than we had pop-ups, a couple of strikeouts in there, but for the most part, we put the ball in play. And got ahead in the count and forced the pitchers to throw pitches to us instead of away from us.
Talk about the pitching tonight. Used to Peyton McLaren and then Brent Lamp with the save, her second save of the year.
Yeah. You know, I thought Peyton did a really good job. We just that was third time through, and we were back at the top of the order, and sometimes it's better to see something a little bit different. Like most teams, those top hitters that Clarinda has are tough. They're really tough hitters, and they probably go a little bit deeper than a lot of the teams that we've played against in the Hawkeye 10 as far as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters in there that consistently put the ball in play and bat over 400. So it was just an idea to have them see something a little bit different.
A lot of hits, and Zoe Kirchhoff, who we're going to talk to in a moment, 4 for 4, 2 singles, a double, and a home run, 4 RBI. What can you say about your senior?
Oh, man, I mean, you know, she struggled here a little bit lately, and I think it's just one of those things where you go down to the batting cage, regroup a little bit, and know that you just do the things that got you to this position where you are. And she did a great job on top of the ball all night long, hitting line drives, and then, of course, the home run, which was huge, too. So, you know, hats off to her. She did a heck of a job.
Undefeated in Hawkeye 10 Conference, Coach. 2 to go on Thursday. How does that feel?
Yeah, we got to get Shenandoah tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
I would say the same thing here. We're probably not going to see the same Shenandoah team that we saw down there. We had a fairly easy time, all in all, at that particular game. I know we got a lot of girls in to get a chance to play, but hey, we're at that time of the year, Tom, where if you're playing younger girls, they're not younger anymore. You know, they've had 2.5 months, almost 3 months, depending upon what they start and what they do in the spring, of playing time under their belt, and pitchers have seen pretty much every kind of a hitter to this point. So teams just get better, and it's going to get more and more difficult for us as we get past the Hawkeye 10 schedule. But like I told the girls tonight at the postseason or post game meeting, that we'll deal with that part of the season, but we got unfinished business here yet to do tomorrow against Shenandoah, and then a Red Oak team that we have not seen yet.
You bet. Coach, congratulations.
Thanks,
Best
Tom.
of luck tomorrow night.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for being here today.
You bet. Terry Hensman, head coach of Atlantic Trojans, joining us here on the post-game show here on KS 95.7 FM. And the Trojans, again, Shenandoah tomorrow night, then Red Oak on Thursday. So I mentioned earlier, I forgot about that Shen game, but yeah, we have that makeup game coming up. Hey, we're joined by Zoe Kirchhoff here, and tell you what, Zoe, you had a great night tonight here for the Trojans, and we're going to talk to Zoe, but first we're going to break away with this.
Stein delivers more new genetics faster. Our focus on delivering higher yielding genetics faster than the competition is why we have released more new Enlist E3 lines in the past 5 years than any other seed company. For elite genetics paired with simple, flexible, and effective weed control, plant Stein Enlist E3 soybeans. Stein has yield. 45 years of yield. Learn more at steinseed.com.
Post-game show here on KS 95.7 FM. Zoe Kirchhoff joining us, and 4 for 4 at the plate. You had outstanding play, a number of assists there, but one real outstanding play there at shortstop. But great night for you. And talk about your plate appearances: 2 singles, a double, a home run, 4 RBI.
Yeah, I've definitely been struggling. Like, there's no lie about it. So I kind of had to just go back to the basics and be like, I've played this game for so long, I need to just go keep it simple and get out of my head. And I'm really lucky to have really good coaches and teammates that put a lot of support into me, helped me through it, talked with me a lot, and just get night and come back for it.
Let's talk about the home run. I always like to ask, what pitch did you see, and did you think it was going out?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty middle. It wasn't anything crazy. I had timed the first one, so I felt like I was on time.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt like I hit it solid, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be too high.
Yeah, you had a lot of air underneath it, but just went over the left field fence, and big home run. That was a big run in that game. It was 6-5 at that point, and that gave you a 2-run cushion, of course. Then you added 3 more in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Unblemished in the conference, you got Shenandoah coming up on Wednesday, Red Oak 2 on Thursday. Talk about this group.
Yeah, no, this group is really special. I mean, we're really close. We get along really well. We really enjoy coming and hanging out with each other. Our pitchers do great. They put us in opportunities to win. I feel like we have a really nice defense. And, everybody's just confident, playing well, having fun. So.
Speaking of confidence, you're playing with a lot of that at shortstop. How much do you enjoy playing that position? I mean, you've had a tremendous year there.
Yeah, thank you. No, I love it. I think it's so much fun. I think I can be really competitive with myself. I think it's fun to see what you can get to, what you can't. And I just really like making plays for my team. Well, and you and Jillian Satoff are at the top of the list on assists and chances. Satoff leads the league, and you're right in there. Schroeder also at third. I mean, what's it like with Satoff when you have that target and that sure-headed glove at first base? Yeah, no, we say this all the time that we're so lucky to have such a good first baseman, because it gives me a lot of confidence, in a close play, that I can just throw it as hard as I can, and if it's a little wild, I know she'll catch it. I'm never worried. So, me and Claire talk about that all the time, though. She's always a sure thing over there. Very good. Zoe, congrats. Great night for you. 4 for 4 at the plate. Great job on defense. Made a spectacular play as well tonight. Best of luck the rest of the way. Thank you. You bet. Zoe Kirchhoff joining us here. 4 for 4. 2 singles, a double, a home run, and 4 RBI. Atlantic will play Shenandoah right back here tomorrow night. And then Red Oak, a doubleheader at Red Oak on Thursday. And that will wrap up the Hawkeye 10 conference season. Atlantic still unblemished, but they've got a tough Philly team coming to town. And like Coach says, they have not seen Red Oak
yet this season. They'll end that with a doubleheader. Dowling back here on a Friday, and we'll have that contest on KS 95.7 FM. Pre-game show at around 6:45. First pitch at 7. Big thanks to Fletcher Toft here for the live video stream. We'll have another video stream coming up on a Friday night when Dowling comes to town. Once again, your final, Atlantic 10 and